Good morning and welcome to this edition of Research Fantasy Presents our MLB DFS pitcher picks for Saturday, July 1st, 2017. Don't really have a big slate of baseball to talk about, and the pitching options are pretty horrible when you really look down the list. There's no more than two pitchers that I really want to take a look at, but I guess at the end of the day, it is what it is. Let's start things off today with Dickey at 7,600 on FanDuel. I never thought I'd see the day again where I wanted to consider Dickey. He's been awful now for like 3 years after his Cy Young season. But things are picking back up. He's facing an Oakland team that isn't exactly great, considering they almost got no hit by Mike Fultonwitz last night. Thankfully, Matt Olson made sure that didn't happen and provided a home run in the ninth inning. They still lost the game, but it just shows that they're really capable of being shut down. I had way more Oakland ownership than I probably should have. Thankfully, most of it fell on Olson and Jed Lowry, so I wasn't like horribly disappointed. But tonight, I think that can definitely be a risky option to run with Dickey, but he's shown that he has enough upside to get you to a point where you could feel comfortable with using him. Next up, Jake Odorizzi, probably the most consistent pitcher on the slate, 7,700 on FanDuel. Not a huge strikeout guy, taking on a Baltimore Orioles team that's really just been blah. His last outing doesn't look great. It was actually against the Orioles. 5 strikeouts, 4 earned runs, 5 1/3 innings. But look, I mean, if you look up and down the roster of what we have to work with today, there's just nothing that really excites us. Yeah, Zach Wheeler could be a potential option, but before going on a short DL trip, he posted back-to-back negative outings. I get the Phillies aren't great, but you have to have some legitimate concern for how he's going to be able to pitch today. Odorizzi provides that kind of safety. He's probably an SP2. It maybe even has to be an SP1 in cash games and tournaments. It's just a really ugly slate. Finishing things out, let's look at Dylan Bundy, who's been another guy who's been relatively consistent on the year, and we know that even though the Rays have a high ISO, a high WOBA, a high hard hit percent against right-handed pitching, they also have an extremely high strikeout rate, so there's a high likelihood here that if they're not hitting the ball hard, far, and over the fence, that Dylan could have a really big game. I mean, he's a solid pitcher. He was their most touted prospect all the way back to like 2010, 2011. Things are finally starting to pan out for him. Really what this slate comes down to in terms of pitching is what's the least risky options, and I believe that especially Bundy and Odorizzi are the least risky. I think you have a little upside with Dickey as well. So that'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Head over to researchfantasy.com, see what we've got going on there. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Research and Win, and join us again tomorrow.